Adegoke and Abena lived happily with their two kids, Jamila and Jabari, in a small village in West Africa. Adegoke was a village chief, while Abena was a farmer owning a stretch of farmlands. Despite the joy of the family, Adegoke had a weakness. One fateful day, when Adegoke was heading for the village meeting, he met Risi, a pretty maid. He watched as Risi walked to the market. Her white clothing wrapped her frame, revealing the shape of her waist bead. Sitting nicely on her hips, her wrist adorned with brass bangles. A spark set his heart on fire. He walked up to her. Risi did not hesitate to become Adegoke's second wife. She got pregnant and moved into his home. Abena welcomed Risi with open arms, unaware of the dangers that lies ahead. Risi bore female twins named Salah and Subira, but she grew jealous every day. Knowing Adegoke loved Abena more than he loved her, she decided to seek the assistance of her aunt. Madame Jojo was a known sorceress in her village. She was feared and respected due to her ability to create potions and cast any spell. Villagers from far and near come to her for a solution. It is believed that if Madame Jojo does not have a remedy for their problems, it means there is no solution in the entire world. Risi arrives at the dusty abode of Madame Juju.
Risi. So you still remember the path that leads to your auntie's house?
I'm sorry, Auntie. Those that have been unable to come visit after my marriage. The stress of pregnancy took a toll on me. And I could not leave the twins on their own after their birth.
Oh, it's okay. So is everything alright in your new home?
No, Auntie. Adegoke loves Abena and her children more than me. The charm you gave me seemed to have lost its potent. Part of the reason why I'm here.
Madame Juju looked into a calabash filled with water.
Risi, there is nothing you can do about his love for his first wife. They are destined for one another, and even the heavens forbid they are separated. But there is a way out. You will have to take both of them out.
Risi was silent, pondering on Madame Juju's words.
If I cannot have Adegoke, no one should. Do it, Auntie.
She utters callously. Madame Juju plucks a purple flower from her in-house plant, handing it to Risi.
As soon as you get home, speak your intentions into this flower and then bury it deep in the earth in front of the house. In 3 days, your wish will manifest. But there is a warning. Bury it as deep as you can. If sunlight hits the flower, there will be great consequences.
Risi appreciated her aunt and returned home. At midnight, she carried out her aunt's instructions. At the break of dawn, Adegoke received news about his ailing brother. Adegoke, Abena and their son Jabari decided to visit since his village was close by. At the same time, Jamila was instructed to stay behind to enable her to focus on her upcoming school examinations. On their return, they had a car crash that claimed their lives. Risi and her children mourned, while Jamila was too shocked to accept the news of her family's death. But as hours turned into days, she cried herself to sleep, realizing her once loving family was never coming back. After the funeral rites, each day living with her stepmother and her stepsisters was torture for her. Jamila was made to do all the house chores. I was banned from schooling. She was treated as a slave in the house. She only wore clothing her stepsisters as discarded in the trash. Her stepmother never fails to remind her that sleeping under the same roof was due to her mercy. Her stepsisters was not so different from their mother. Every time they found her wearing their discarded clothing, they mocked her, calling her the trash girl. Years passed, and Jamila got used to the cruelty of her step-family. One fateful day, Jamila went to the stream to fetch some water, met an old man struggling with his water pot at the river bank. She offers to help him.
No, don't worry, my daughter. I live very far from here. If you help me, you might not return to your home till sunset.
But Jamila insisted. As soon as she arrives at the old man's hut, thanked her and insists he gives her a gift. He showed Jamila 3 clay pots, instructing her to choose one. She chose the smallest pot among them.
Right choice, my daughter. This pot contains the water spirit. Fill the pot with moonlight water at sunrise and go about your day. At sunset, speak your desires to it and go to sleep at peace. By the break of dawn, they will manifest.
The next day, she did as instructed, requesting to have a family that loved her and be free. At sunrise, she goes to the stream for her usual chores. When something hits her, she collapses, losing consciousness. She manages to open her eyes, surveying the ornate environment. An older lady walks in with a smile.
Thank the gods you are awake. You've been asleep for 4 days. The prince has been worried sick. He has blamed himself for not cautioning his horse on the path. You must be hungry. I will send the maid to get you some food.
Jamila was confused about her environment. Her memory was failing, but the food the maid brought made her instantly hungry. She has never seen so much delicious food at once. She devoured them. After she had her fill, the maid smiled, asking her if she needed more. Jamila shakes her head as she sees a charming prince at the door watching.
I am glad you are awake. Apologize for my horse hitting you. Baba is still a wild horse. I guess he's sorry too. Come say hello to him.
The prince helped Jamila up on her feet as they walked along a corridor, reaching a ranch occupied by horses, dogs, and birds with servants tendering to them.
I have sent words across neighboring village, so your family won't be worried about you. But an informant said you're a poor orphan who lives with her stepmother and stepsisters.
At this stage, Jamila's memory clicks. She was on her way to the stream when something struck her from behind.
You can remain in the palace for as long as you wish. But if you want to go back home, you can let me know.
Jamila, frightened by the aggression of her stepmother, pleaded that she should be taken back home. As soon as she arrived at the house, a magical pot was at the center of the room. She knew instantly she was in trouble.
You are not just a useless orphan. You are also a witch. In my house.
Risi smacked Jamila across the face as her stepsisters mocked her. In tears, Jamila confesses her encounter with the old man. Risi screams at her.
Take us there right now.
They arrive at the old man's hut, with Risi cursing him.
So you are the wizard who initiated this girl into witchcraft and gave her this fetish item. And she had the guts to bring it under my own roof. I have to report you to the village elders.
Risi finishes, breaking the magic pot. The old man looked at Jamila's teary face, then turned to Risi.
You don't have to. She was nice to me, so I gave her something in appreciation for a kind gesture. We can settle this amicably. I can make your desires come true. You can choose one of these clay pots.
The thought of being given her own magical pot made Risi greed grow. She chose the largest clay pot.
Great choice, my daughter. You chose a pot with a fire spirit. You will have to fill it with hot boiling water at sunrise. And at sunset, you should only speak the opposite of your desires. By the break of dawn, your desires will manifest.
But Risi was engulfed in her desires. She paid no attention. She decides to make the prince fall in love with her daughters and break whatever feelings he had with Jamila. On the next sunrise, she poured boiling water into the clay pot and could not wait for sunset to speak her desires. The next day, she is awakened by the royal guards and a majestic horse waiting in her front yard. The prince alights from his horse, demanding to see the house owner. She ushers him in, ordering Jamila to serve him some refreshment. As soon as Jamila walked in, the prince got up smiling to her.
I could not sleep since you left the palace. Please, can you come to the palace and live with me as my bride?
Risi interrupts.
No, your majesty. This girl is not your wife. She is my girl's slave.
But the prince ignores Risi and her daughters. Jamila, knowing that this heart alone will result in her stepmother raining fire and brimstone on her. Once the prince leaves, decides to go with the prince. The following day, the town crier announces the marriage union of Jamila and the prince. Risi listened with anger built in her. She rushes into her room, smashing the magic pot. Immediately she did. The purple flower she planted in the front yard many years ago was unearthed, striking her with madness. She confessed her sin and was banished from the village by the villagers. Her daughters could not bear to live alone without their mother. Followed her, caused to wander with nowhere to call home.
Tell us what you think about the video in the comments and subscribe so you don't miss more stories when they drop.